Bienvenidos. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Paola Lopez. I am the Marketing Manager and Business Development for Mission Regional Medical Center, who has proudly served the Upper Valley for the past 65 years. I am also a proud member of the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your time today with us. I'm very happy to be here. We hope you're looking forward for today's legislative update. We are honored to have the U.S. State Representative Sergio Munoz Jr. with us today, and we thank him for taking the time out of his busy schedule to be here with us. Thank you. Unfortunately, State Representative Bobby Guerra was not able to make it, but we have a special treat for you. The president of South Texas College, Dr. Ricardo Solis, will be filling it out for a brief educational update. On that note, I would like to take this time to recognize and thank our mayor, Dr. Armando Caña, our city council members who are in the audience today, and any elected official joining us. Please stand to be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise for the presentation of colors led by the City of Mission Police Department, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce President, Brenda Enriquez.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us give grace. Dear Heavenly Father, bless the food we are about to receive. Thank you for allowing us to make a difference once more with the gifts that you have blessed us with, as we know gifts are meant to be shared with others. Give us wisdom and strength to learn about the current events and how we can make a positive impact. And lastly, bless us and our families on our way back to our offices and home. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Brenda. At this time, I'd like to welcome our Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce Board Chairwoman and CEO of Medcare EMS and Next Home RGB, and a beautiful lady, Ms. Ronnie Ontiveros.
Hi, and good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us here today. I would like to thank all of the collaboration and the support of our sponsors. Here at the Greater Mission Chamber, we have tremendous support from our table sponsors and our Greater Mission Chamber investors. Our investors are Mission CISD, the City of Mission, Cano and Sons Trucking, with our board members Sarah Cano and Juan Cano, Mission EDC, Mission Regional Medical Center, IBC Bank, Aeromar, and Burt Ogden RGV. I'd also like to thank our table sponsors, Radisson Hotel McAllen Airport, Valley Land Title, Fem City RGV, Pro Valley Foods, RGV Villa Homes, Lineberger, Goggin Blair, and Sampson LLP, and Social Life magazine. It is at this time I would like to present the new president of our South Texas College, Dr. Ricardo Solis. Thank you so much for a brief update that we're excited to hear, and we're excited to know about the great work STC College will be doing here in the community.
Good morning. Muy buenas tardes. Hi, I'm Ricardo Solis, the new president of South Texas College. Been here for about 5 months now, and it's been a phenomenal journey to be here. Of course, I was not expecting to speak today, and I know you did not come to see me. I know you're here to hear about the legislation. But of course, I'm always prepared, and I'm never going to pass an opportunity to speak about this great college, South Texas College, because we are the Valley's college. There's been many changes in the past few years, especially with the pandemic, and that is one that is very critical to understand, the changes in the higher education. But most importantly, it is critically important to understand the role that higher education plays, especially here in the Valley. The themes that we continuously see is ongoing globalization, continuous innovation, and relentless competition. However, higher education now is going to be playing even a more important role. It is no longer about transportation, logistics, costs, labor, taxes, location. It's going to be, the key is going to be the skilled labor availability and the institutions providing that skilled labor, which in our case in the Valley, at least in Hidalgo and Starr County, is South Texas College. The changes that we're going to see now are going to be very unique and very innovative. I know we're used to seeing the university model of the 4 and 6 and 8 years. We're going to see big change now, especially now with the pandemic. There's been quite a bit of change. And you're probably aware, the enrollment at South Texas College, for instance, we are now close to 30,000 students today. However, that's still a little bit less than where we were right before the pandemic. And we have, all of us together, our homework is to work with the students that are today sitting out. We still have several thousand students in the Valley that are not going to college, especially in the male Hispanics. They did not go to college from the pandemic and even after. And that is where all of us are going to have to work together in finding the solution to reach out to these students that need to come back. They need to come back to college. Or actually, they need to go to college. Many of these did not. They finished high school a year, 2 years ago, and did not go to college. Fortunately, we are making some changes, some very innovative changes at South Texas College. We have over 100 programs. And by the way, we are the only community college in the state of Texas that offers 4-year bachelor's degrees. I'm sorry, 5 years and 4 years. We are the only college that has that. Most colleges offer 1-year programs, and we have 5 bachelor programs. That is quite an achievement. So we're very excited about that. What we're going to be doing now is even more, is implementing short-term programs, certificates, diplomas. That is what the solution is going to be to get these students, because they want to come back. They want to go to a short-term career. I think you know, those of you that have children or teenagers, and in fact, there's quite a few 20 to 30-year-olds that are sitting out. They're looking for short-term solutions, and that is what at South Texas College we're going to be doing. We are developing already even more workforce, continuing education programs that are going to be short-term, but most importantly, they're going to be the solution to give immediate jobs, high-paying, high-demand jobs to our students. And that is what we're very excited about. However, we're going to need your help to make sure that we get these students, or these people that in the Valley that did not go to college. Secondly, most importantly, funding There's plenty of funding and monies available for the students. That is not an issue. Fortunately, with the CARES Act and all the other programs that are out there from federal aid and so on, those funds are available for all of the students in the Valley. And of course, still we are the best alternative, the best college, the best solution for our students due to the cost and of course to our programs. And we are in 5 campuses throughout the Valley. That's an incredible achievement that we have here at South Texas College. So I'm very excited about this. And not only that, we are focusing on health and technology. I was speaking with several people here with the hospitals, how critical, I think all of us know, especially now with the pandemic, how the health careers became a huge factor in students or people wanting to go into a career, into a profession. We have over 13 health programs at South Texas College, from radiology to physical therapy to ultrasound, sonography. I can go on. And of course, nursing, which is what I want to mention very specifically right now. Nursing is the critical key with the high-paying jobs. We're very fortunate that we have developed a relationship with the county. We have the county judge, Richard Cortez, sitting over there. The county and the commissioners have been very collaborative and visionary in working with South Texas College, because we're about to make an announcement next week that we're going to provide a huge solution to this nursing shortage here in the Valley. What the county has agreed. Is that okay, Richard, that I announce it now? I'm going to do it anyway. He's going, no, don't. Okay. But we're going to be announcing this is the solution. We have plenty of students wanting to be going to the nursing program. In fact, we have close to 500 qualified students today are on a waiting list wanting to get into our nursing programs at South Texas College. The problem is we don't have enough instructors to be able to accommodate all these students. We graduate approximately 280 students a year. That's more than all the other institutions in South Texas combined. From Laredo to Corpus all the way down to Brownsville, all of them combined do not graduate that many students. 280, that's an incredible figure of nurses that we graduate. Our goal, with the help of the county, of this announcement we're going to make, is to graduate 400 nursing students per year to be able to go into the workforce here and assist in the Rio Grande Valley. That's quite an achievement. Thank you. And basically, thank you. Yes, the announcement that's going to be made is we're going to be able to, the county is going to provide us with over $2 million, I'm still working on 3, but $2 million to be able to specifically hire nursing instructors so we can be able to augment their nursing programs here in the Valley. And that's going to be a phenomenal addition to all of us. And we're going to be doing even more. I know that we're going to be able to prove to the county and to the citizens that that's money well spent, because those students would immediately be able to matriculate into the nursing programs, and of course will be able to go into the workforce in a high-paying job and stay here in the Valley. So we're very excited about that with that program. Just like on the other areas, I know I've been already past my 3-minute talk here. She says, okay. All right, I'll give you more things to talk about. And the other areas that we're going to be able to focus, that we're going to here at South Texas College, is in the innovation, technology. That is where the future is. In addition to the short-term programs that I mentioned, we're going to be developing even more unique programs, especially when it comes to EV. That's electric vehicles. We're going to go into electric vehicles, battery-related, all of those technologies. We're going to be developing those programs to be able to offer those next year. And that's why we're very excited that we're going to be, not only do we have the health and the technology, of course we have many other programs as well, from cybersecurity to engineering to education. I can go on and on. Of course, over 100 programs. You saw what we announced just a couple months ago on the opposite end, on the shortest term, that is a solution for the economy, to the distribution, that is the trucking program. We just started our CDL truck driver's license. That's another exciting opportunity for the Valley, and we're going to continue growing and having those programs available at every campus. And by the way, when we announced it back in December, we sold out for the truck driver program. Everybody wanted to go into it, so we're going to have to even increase our resources and offer it at least at the West Local campus, McAllen, and hopefully soon in Mission, with the help of with Mayor Cañas. We're working on a very innovative possibility to even expand there, and of course as well as to Rio Grande City, which is also where we have one of our campuses. So with that said, of course, most importantly, I wanted to mention about the health opportunities and our technology. We're very excited to be part of the Valley, to be a solution, because education is the equalizer of success for our students when they're going through their journey and be more productive and successful citizens. So again, thank you for being here and continue supporting South Texas College. Thank you very much and appreciate it. We are the Valley's College. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ricardo Solis, for that valuable information. At this time, I'd like to pass it over to a City of Mission Mayor, Dr. Armando Ocaña, for an official welcome to the city.
Good afternoon and welcome. Good day, everyone. And again, welcome to our first public event for 2022 for the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce. I hope you started this year safely with friends and family. But let's remember that we must not let our guard down. If we want to beat this pandemic, we have to watch all the safeguards that our CDC proposes. The City of Mission has placed special emphasis on protecting the health of our citizens. We're continuing our vaccination clinics, and they have been very successful. The turnout has been tremendous. I want all of you to know that the well-being of our community is my top priority. Throughout my years in public service, I have learned that sharing information with our community, collaboration, and team effort helps us to succeed. That is why these type of forums represent a great opportunity to find out what is happening in our greater city. Dr. Solis, great job in informing our community on your future visions and the future of STC. Just on a small note, I was just reflecting on the time when I spent 43 years as an educator, and I remember the founding seeds that were done at the STC until Ann Richards came in and inaugurated STC, and those were the good old days that we would like to have seen STC at this level, and I'm glad that you're taking it to the second level, Dr. Solis, and I thank you for that. I also want to thank the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce for putting this together today. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of people look forward to these special luncheons where we learn so much. But if we could expand it, it'll limit the phone calls to me saying that you have closed the event due to having a great success and so forth. I just needed to mention that part, that thank you for that success. You know, a lot of events are never closed, but yours happens to be closing every single event that you're doing, which is, let's give them a round of applause. Also, it gives me great honor and joy to have Representative Munoz here with us today. I've had the pleasure of knowing him since he was a little kid, growing up and moving up to taking our city of Mission as well as the Valley to Austin and defending it without hesitation and without reservation. Thank you, Mr. Munoz. And we would like to continue working closely with you again in your future endeavors as you get reelected. He's a great friend of Mission, and he always wants what is best, not only for Mission, but what is best for the Rio Grande Valley. He loves to speak about regionalization, but in a nutshell, he's the best that has happened to our community. We are very lucky to have you. Again, welcome to the City of Mission, welcome to the All-American City, and enjoy your Buenas Tardes Luncheon.
Thank you, Mayor Ocaña. Our next guest is the Media Relations Director for the City of Mission. She has been with our All-American City for 3 years, but she's been here much longer than that. She's a hometown girl, born and raised in Mission. She has more than 25 years of experience in the media industry and started her career as an anchor and reporter for the local CBS affiliate, KGBT TV. She has 4 amazing children. One of them just graduated with her master's degree, 2 currently in college at A&M and UTSA, and her baby's a junior in high school. Oh my Lord. I have a lot of kids, yes. Listen this. She's currently mourning because her Dallas Cowboys lost the playoff game. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our moderator, Roxanne Lerma.
Mic is up. Can everybody hear me pretty good? I am in recovery. I don't understand why Dak ran and wasted our 14 seconds when we could have thrown it twice into the end zone, but that's neither here nor there. I appreciate the kind introduction, Paola. Really excited for the chance to be here. I love this talk show style format. It really gives us a chance to meet our panelists, and we're all in for such a treat because he really needs no introduction at all. Please welcome our Texas State Representative for District 36, Sergio Munoz.
But good afternoon, and thank you all for the opportunity to be with you. Better than?
No, you're good.
Okay. And really just to talk a little bit about the last legislative session, the several special sessions that we went through, and really what we're doing now over the interim in terms of preparation for the next session this coming January, subject to anything happening or us being called back for any special session before we get there. But this past session was the first time I was able to serve on 2 committees that I had not served on before. One was higher education, as Dr. Solis mentioned, how important that is not only to our region, but to really the whole state of Texas in terms of what educational opportunities are we creating for our students and for our families, and setting them up for plans of success early on in high school so they can decide what path is going to be the most beneficial for them. Years ago, especially when I was in school and many others, we were always kind of told the same thing time and time again, and that is you need to go to a 4-year university, you need to go to a 4-year university when you get out of high school. As we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, that's definitely very different now because we have different types of endorsements, and we encourage trades and different skills early on, which now have afforded those opportunities for many individuals and students that want to go into manufacturing, into technical trades, into any other demands that we're looking at in terms of meeting the workforce needs, not only here of the Rio Grande Valley, but throughout the state of Texas. I was also appointed to the Pension, Investments, and Financial Services Committee, which really oversees all of our banking institutions here in the state of Texas when it goes to even payday lending, our credit unions. And I found that committee very interesting because I felt I finally had an opportunity to complain about those credit card and debit card fees that they're charging me every month, the bank, right, for you call customer service, and you know, because they put a hold on your on your credit card or your debit card, and then they charge you $10 for it in your bank statement. I don't know if that happens to any of you here, or if you've seen any other charges, right? But I finally felt I had an opportunity to complain to somebody, and maybe they would listen to me, you know, why they charge us all these different fees. I'm just kidding, Adrian. I don't want you to think that we're talking about you over there, okay? That's right, that's right. But no, I only say that because it was very interesting to see firsthand really what the financial institutions as a whole do for our state, and really to reinforce the economy and the ability for people to have places to go to provide that assistance, especially when it's necessary, if not only for themselves, but for their family. So, I guess, do I already start talking about session? Or? Okay, I'm sorry.
So-
Well, with that, sorry, I was already jumping the gun a little bit.
I know, you're already wanting to do the legislative update, so let me walk you back a little bit. I remember when you started, I literally thought you were, okay, he's 10 years old, how is he doing this? And now you've been a lawmaker for more than 10 years, more than a decade?
This is my fifth session.
Okay, so did you ever think that you were going to do it for this long?
You know, really, at the onset, I think I just, and I really still am to this day, just I feel blessed for the opportunity to serve, and I feel very grateful that the people have entrusted me with that responsibility over the years, especially on the different re-election campaigns. And really, the way I see it is we're always looking just at the next legislative session, trying to get everything ready and prepared so we can do our best. And the people that have the last say are the voters, and thank God that they've continued to bless me with that opportunity to work with our community and to try to see what we can do to make our community better.
Excellent. So the legislative session ended with some significant changes. So can you share with us like some of those critical changes, and more specifically those that impacted our valley?
Well, one of the things that we were looking at when it comes to the state budget, right, is first of all, we had about $116 billion, which was about a 5.5 increase from the prior biennium just in general revenue. When you take the federal funds, et cetera, we have over a $234 billion state budget. The two highest cost drivers for our budget are obviously education and healthcare. One, just because the demand and the need for both of those continue to grow year after year, whether it's in our educational system, but also the healthcare needs that we're looking at. This was also an interesting session because of the challenges that we were looking at due to the pandemic. Definitely, it's something that came in at a time that nobody was expecting. It really has altered the way that we really go about our daily lives, whether it's in our professional work, school, business, even events. So when the session started, it was very different because normally you have a lot of people that come from the district that have their different days, like Mission goes up there, McAllen, the Rio Grande Valley as a whole, and advocating for the issues. And it was very different because we had to do things through Zoom and many else. But I think the other items that are of importance were, one, expanding telemedicine, which was making sure that you can qualify for the reimbursement, whether it was through Medicaid or other type of private insurance, because for many of us, even till this day, it's very difficult to get the physician or a PA to meet in person, run because of the demand. But I think we've all utilized telemedicine services the best that we can to make sure that we can still get treatment for ourselves or for our family. In addition to that, speaking about, I guess, small businesses here, there was a liability protection that was extended for our healthcare workers and our hospitals and our businesses if it was in regards to a man-made disaster or type of an emergency. And secondly, one of the things that also sticks out tremendously is broadband expansion, which is something that we've seen daily for all of us that were doing school from home and making sure that our kids were connected, but also trying to address the connectivity issues in some of our rural areas within our county and really without the state.
Were you guys on the floor, or were you zooming in like we were. I mean, now for our City of Mission staff meetings, even today, we're all zooming in from our office. I'm in my media office, our planning director is in her office, and then Randy's talking to all of us. So is that the way you guys?
I mean, we were still on the floor. Obviously, they were encouraging people to wear masks and to practice a lot of the CDC guidelines that are still in existence today. But there were some limitations in place in terms of the entry of the Capitol itself. They were requiring testing, they were requiring certain things, before you go in, temperature checks, etc. We had pretty much a hybrid of both. We still had people that would come in person, although we did have a lot of meetings and we encouraged a lot of it, especially through Zoom, because we found out that at times that could be more efficient.
Yeah. So some of the changes that you talked about, are those going to have a direct impact on our small business community here in South Texas?
Yeah, the liability protection was one of the things that was passed, and two, the unemployment compensation. A lot of businesses were experiencing shortages in terms of the workforce coming in, and when they did see an increase in the hiring, it was affecting their ratio or the unemployment percentage that would have to be paid by the state.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the state kicked in several $billion to that fund to make sure that it wouldn't affect our small businesses and they wouldn't be penalized for that.
Okay, so you also, and you mentioned, you touched on it, that there were some special sessions. So can you kind of share with us what happened during those sessions? Why were they needed? Why are you smirking? Yeah, share a little about the special sessions and how that went for us.
Well, initially the special sessions were all centered around an issue that really impacts all of us, not only on a local level, but on a federal level, and that is voting rights.
Right.
Some people feel very passionate and strong about certain things. There's others that also feel that in the environment that we live, there's no longer limitations or challenges that are put in front of individuals to be able to exercise the right to vote at the ballot box. One of the things that I personally, look at as a whole, and something that I think is impactful is that, on the federal level, we've had civil rights that really came about since the mid to the late 1960s, and you had the Civil Rights Act that's been renewed time and time again. It didn't matter what party was in power. The voting rights was something that impacted people across the board, especially when it came to the civil rights and to all the protections that are in place when it comes to that. And to me, that's like a human issue. It's not a party issue. It's just the right that everybody should have across the board, regardless of where you come from, where you live, or what opportunities are presented before you. One of the main contentious parts of the special sessions that really probably brought about the greatest attention was the concern about the state law that was being proposed and that ultimately passed, that for some people felt like they were putting an extra burden on the right to vote for the people of this state. Now, one of the things that got reported time and time again, in fact, it even got media attention, was that people were concerned about what that would do to the ordinary person in terms of limiting the hours that they would be able to vote. There's all these questions that come into play about mail-in ballots, which I don't think anybody in any way, shape, or form would promote fraud at all. But you do want people to be given the assistance necessary so they can exercise their right. So that really turned into, I would say, a small legislative issue to a national fight. Because of that, of course, the governor came in shortly thereafter and vetoed our budgets for our offices. So if we wouldn't have passed the supplemental funding, I guess, technically by the last special session before September 1, I guess we wouldn't have had money for our district offices or for our legislative offices, although there's still legal questions as to whether that constitutional power is limited to that or not. I don't know if my staff is here, so I know they were very concerned about that when they vetoed our funding because they made sure that, you know, we had a special session just for that. Oh, they didn't show up here?
Are they in trouble?
No, no. No, but I say that because, you know, one, my personal feeling, right, is that, you know, our staff shouldn't be penalized for the positions that we take as representatives or as legislators, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people that are elected to office are elected by the support of everybody within their district. When we're elected, it's not partisan. We do our best to represent everybody, whether they were with us or they supported us or not. And when you take a stand because of something that you believe in, obviously I think my opinion is that your office or anybody else shouldn't be penalized. In fact, the whole legislative branch shouldn't be penalized because somebody doesn't agree with the position that you take. One of the things that I feel is missing a lot nowadays is that people don't want to talk about issues. They don't want to sit down and try to find common ground to make things happen. So whatever we can do to encourage that on any level, I think is important because the people that suffer at the end of the day are our constituents.
Right. So you talked about the media attention with the voting. What got a lot of media attention also was redistricting. And so can you talk a little bit about that and the impact on our region?
So the other thing that was also on the forefront was the issue that you mentioned also about redistricting. And you know, every 10 years we go through that practice and that exercise because of the census and the numbers and how that's going to impact our legislative districts and really all the way down to our local levels, because I think the counties as well have to look at reapportioning the lines, et cetera, even at a local level. So initially, before, our legislative districts for every state representative could have anywhere between 167 to 174,000 people, right? There was a little bit of a window there, percentage, in terms of what the makeup is. Now, with the new numbers and looking at just Hidalgo County in general, one, of course, there's still a concern that we were undercounted in terms of the true population, the true amount of people that live here. But all of our districts got reapportioned in the sense that the number of people within our districts increased by another 10, 15,000. So for many of us like myself, my district did change a little bit. I was now encompasses a little bit more of the city of Mission. I get a little bit part of Alton.
Well, that's a good thing if you get a little bit more mission.
Yeah, no, definitely. And a lot of these communities that now become part of our district officially, we're very fortunate that even over the years we were working with them on certain issues. So I think now going forward, we have some of those established relationships that make it that hopefully will make the future a little bit more efficient in the sense of trying to continue some of the work that we've done with them over the years.
Okay. You touched briefly on some of the committees that you're on. Is there anything that you were really proud of that got pushed through and passed this session?
Well, on higher education, one of the things that we looked at was, and actually passed, was the college athletes in many states, especially California and others, were being able to sell their likeness and image and benefit financially from it, right?
Okay.
A lot of our college athletes that have a following and that are able to get, of course, we talk about, for example, the advertising and the merchandise that, Dak Prescott has, right? Or other C.D. Lamb or many others.
Right.
I don't want to mention the Cowboys.
I like that you're only mentioning the Cowboys. I'm okay with that.
But a lot of our college athletes are recruited and they have a big following and really, whether it's UT, A&M, many other colleges, people invest a lot of money to go and see them play even at a college level. For the college athletes, though, they weren't able to benefit from that, right? Because there were certain limitations that were placed. One of the things the state did is allow them now, with certain protections in place, to work with the school to be able to do that, because many of the recruits were going to other states that were allowing them to sell that likeness and image, based on even being in college, but being able to generate income, right, based on that. So that was something that for Texas, especially everybody likes football and sports, they wanted to make sure that the athletes here within the state would be able to do that as well. And pensions and investments in financial services, even though I was complaining about the banking fees, I'm going to mention it again.
Not Adrian.
Not IBC though, right? Because they don't charge. But for our teachers, we had the 13 check and the cost of living, and those bills actually were passed out of the pensions, investment, financial services during the regular session. In fact, they were passed in April. Unfortunately, they never made it to the floor during the regular session. Subsequent to that, they came back on the second and third special session, and they finally passed, but they went through another committee. But I do feel that we should applaud the Committee on Pensions and Investments, that we were the first and the first committee to really pass those bills and put them at the forefront so the rest of the legislative body would be able to consider it going forward.
I don't know why I thought with the sports athletes, that's super interesting. I don't know why I thought that was a nationwide thing. I didn't realize it was a Texas thing. So the idea that we even recruit that kind of caliber of talent is interesting despite the state having those restrictions.
Yeah, that was something that we saw a lot of the other states that were implementing legislation to allow them to do that. And it was something that was brought before us in the Higher Education Committee because, Texas obviously wanted to be able to compete as well for
Texas is football,
for the
so.
recruits. And the second thing, right, in the Higher Education Committee that I think Dr. Solis touched on and mentioned is trying to make the trying to streamline the connection between our high school, college, and even our four universities easier in terms of the transferability of credits, and also encourage, for example, and Dr. Solis is also a big proponent of this as well, and that we've seen even the last months that he's been here, is really establishing that relationship with the UTRGV, that they're not here to compete against one another, but they're here to work together,
Right.
and offer opportunities for any student that wants to get educated, but how can they do that working together?
It's all about working together. I mean, I think that Mayor mentioned it also, you're all about regionalization, so that applies to our higher education as well. The Senate and the House are going to be reviewing interim charges for our upcoming 88th legislative session. So particularly within your respective committees, what kind of interim charges do you see that are going to be maybe pursued this coming year?
Well, in higher education, there's already been some talk that we obviously have to continue to study and look at ways to, the cost of higher education is growing tremendously, right?
Yes, it is. I
for-
have 3, so
for-
I know exactly what that's like.
I mean, in undergrad, I went to UT in Austin, and I still remember what it used to cost for a semester or a year of college, and that
How
was
much was it?
And that was a public. It used to be about $6,000, I think, a semester.
Yeah, as opposed
This was
to
like
what?
I'm thinking about 2001, maybe
Right.
2000. So now you look at a semester, even at a public university, costing about $10,000-$12,000, which has really doubled, sometimes even tripled over the years. Now, for us, one of the things that we feel strongly about is that if it is a public institution and it is a public university, then it should be affordable. The last things we want is for kids to come out of college with all this debt, and even though they find really successful jobs, it's like a mortgage payment trying to pay back their financial aid, which I think as a state we need to try to rein that in. I'm not saying that every university is doing that, but that's something that I think is important and critical when it comes to the cost, right? If we would be able to study that and see what measures can be put in place.
I'm with that.
The second thing that I feel strongly about in terms of higher education is the PUF money, right, which is a permanent university fund, which is a lot of the money that is generated through oil and gas leases that the state was gifted many years ago that go towards construction of facilities, and that is divvied up. Obviously, the 2/3 of it go to A&M and UT, but the rest go to the other universities. But even that, I've always been against our universities having to go to the legislature and beg for money to build engineering buildings or any other type of building, period, right? To me, I feel and I felt strongly that we have hundreds of millions of dollars that are given every year through that permanent university fund to the UT system. Really, that should be given to the universities based on the need and based on the plans going forward. It shouldn't be a competition.
That is interesting.
I hate to see universities, fighting against each other because they need 20 million or 30 million for a pharmacy school or for a veterinarian school, when there's hundreds of millions of dollars that are sitting there that are controlled by the system. Of course, I'm not saying anything bad about the people that are serving there either. I just feel that that money should be spent a little bit more wisely maybe, or maybe you should give the universities a little bit more of a voice in being able to use that. Now, the UT system obviously has been a big supporter of our medical school, and they've been, they've made financial commitments over the years as to assistance that is needed. But if anybody's ever been to downtown Austin, right, and I mean, the UT system headquarters was really nice before. I didn't know we needed to spend another $150 million, to buy some more prime real estate to build another one. Again, I'm not saying it was good or bad, other than, in my opinion, obviously that money could have been used for UT-RGV or for many of the universities to build other things. So, and it's not because I'm being combative or conflicted or starting anything with them, right? I just feel that people should have a say, and it shouldn't be a competition for the universities fighting the legislature for what they need. I mean, there's more than enough there for those needs to be met. When it comes to pensions, investments, financial services, one of the things that we're looking at is access to credit and access to the credit utilization for people. In terms of any other type of financial institution, right? First of all, you look at the different lenders and different type of businesses that are out there, and making sure that people know at the onset what the interest rate is and what they're borrowing, and what they have to pay back before they lose their property. And a lot of our financial institutions and banking institutions have been real big promoters of that, and I think we just need to make sure that we have that information given to the general community. And I think on that note, we also need to study the cost of living adjustment for our teachers, which is something that hasn't been given in really more than 10 years. Even though our teacher retirement system is actuarially sound and they are able to meet their financial commitments going forward, I think the resources are there, so that way that cost of living can be implemented for our retirees.
What about for folks that are maybe in this room? Is there anything that they should be looking at in the 88th? Anything that they should, be lobbying for?
Well, I think the challenges that we're still facing with the pandemic are something, as we mentioned on the onset, that are still going to be with us, right, going forward. One of the things that we have to look at as parents, especially, is all of our kids that are going to school, and we've started January with a lot of challenges in a lot of our districts with a lot of our kids because of them coming out positive, and a lot of our professionals as well. Although some of the school districts are providing the paid leave, we do have to work before the end of the school year is over, in my opinion, to get rid of that STAR test or end of course exam test again, because
Yes.
it's creating another burden, another challenge on our teachers and our school systems already. And as we know, the pandemic and the virus itself doesn't discriminate. I mean, it's affecting people across the board. It doesn't matter,
Right.
we hear about people that are vaccinated, unvaccinated, the percentages, how that is different if you are, but it's, children, et cetera. And for the people that come up positive that are not going to school, I mean, they shouldn't be penalized. But we need to move TEA to realize that again and see that there's already enough stress as it is because of what we're facing even a year later. and forcing this end of course exam again on our students and making sure and saying that it's going to calculate for a certain part of the grade, et cetera, I think is just unnecessary.
Okay, so we have a pretty crucial primary and general election that's coming up. Do you maybe foresee any changes in the House, anything that's going to impact directly South Texas?
Well, I think for us in the House Representatives, unfortunately, we've seen that, even after this session and the special sessions, there was a lot of members that retired that had a lot of institutional knowledge when it came down to education, to healthcare, on so many issues across the board. And that's important because you need that knowledge and that wisdom at times when you're facing a lot of the difficult, decisions that we have even as a state going forward. Every election to me is important because everybody has to realize that who they elect is going to be making important decisions that impact them on a daily basis, and that's why we encourage a lot for people to get involved and to participate and to get to know the candidate and get to know what they stand for and what they believe in and what they want to work on. Granted, at times we can't agree on everything, right? But I always feel that if you have an open door and you're able to talk about the issues, you should be able to find common ground to move forward. So because we're losing some of those members, a lot of the things that we do is based on seniority.
Right.
So right now I'm 37 out of 150. There's already been about 7 people ahead of me that have retired. So I'm looking at 29-30, subject to anything happening in the primary and in November. So for me, I just advocate all the time with the Speaker of the House, whoever that person is, just to put me in a position to where I can help my district and really help the state go forward. Whatever committee or whatever service I can be to make that happen. Like I said, for me, it's once you get there, you got to govern for everybody. You have to look at what's best. So I think it's just something that we need to encourage people to participate in, to get involved, and to really not only vote, but to also stay in communication with all your elected officials, even after that, because that's how we can look at ideas or any other issues and work together to make them better.
Okay, we are fixing to take you off the hot seat. Is there anything else that you want to share with us that maybe I didn't ask?
No, I just, first of all, thank you all for your attention and for the opportunity to be with you this afternoon. Granted, the way I feel about certain things maybe, might have people feel a certain way or et cetera, but, I go based on my opinion and things that I've seen, and really at the end, we're working for everybody, right? The small business, big business, middle business, big person, small person, everybody in between. And really, our job is just to make sure that we can bring positive things to our community and also work with not only the city of Mission, but our surrounding communities to make the quality of life better here. I do want to just mention one more thing when it comes to economic development. One of the things that we don't touch on a lot, but is really important to our region, is international trade. Mission with Ansalduas, especially going forward this coming year, they just had the announcement maybe about a month or two ago about construction of the facility to assist with full cargo going back and forth to Mexico, which is definitely going to be an economic driver, not only to Mission, but the surrounding area in terms of economic development south of Bryan Road. Farbridge definitely is a leader when it comes to trade and the movement of goods back and forth. They're also looking at lane expansion going forward to make sure that they can move that commerce more efficiently. But I say that because a lot of times people have a different opinion as to what's going on the border, right? We hear it time and time again on so many levels. The negativity, right, about what's going on, et cetera. Some of the challenges that we face, like I said, in my opinion, are things that we've seen over the years. Obviously now they're highlighted a little bit more for political reasons, but whenever we have a chance, we really need to advocate for the good that is happening here in the Rio Grande Valley. And I know we have friends or people that come down and visit and want to look at this, want to look at that, want to look at investing. It's important for us to make sure that we always put our best foot forward, because this is a community that we live in. This is a community that we're proud of. I mean, I'm extremely proud of being from here and living
So am I.
here, raising a family here. And it always irks me and it bothers me when people have bad things to say. You know, we're like any other metropolitan area, I think, where you take all the cities together in terms of the challenges that you would see. However, as a community, we're all trying to do our best to make our life better. So whatever we can do to advocate for that and to push for that is something that affects all of us here, because we want to live in an area and we want people to have a positive light about where we are and take pride in what we do and where we're from. So I just want to end with that, and thank you all. God bless you.
Well said. There you have it, folks. That wraps up our update for today. I know you just did, but can we please have one more round of applause for our state rep, Sergio Munoz? Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here with us. It was a pleasure to share the stage with you. And for now, we will turn it over to our Vice President, CJ Sanchez.
Good afternoon. Just have some closing remarks before we adjourn today's meeting. I'd like to thank once again our guests, State Rep Sergio Munoz Jr., as well as our wonderful moderator, Ms. Roxanne Lerma, for gifting their time and insight with us today. The Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce would like to thank everyone who had a hand in making today's production a success. I'd like to thank the Mix Academy for the AV equipment today, for the Cimarron Country Club for today's meal, and of course to the GMCC team, Ms. Brenda Enriquez, our CEO and President, Amanda, Jennifer, and Leslie. We all worked tirelessly to make this event possible for you guys, so thank you guys for joining us and for the support. On that note, I'd like to thank again our table sponsors and our premier investors. I'd like to thank Radisson Hotel McAllen Airport, Valley Land Title, Fem City RGV, Pro Valley Foods, RG Via Homes, Linebarger, Goggin Blair, and Sampson LLP, Social Life Magazine. I know our premier investors were mentioned earlier, and I want to take this time to make a special announcement. At this time, I'd like to ask the representatives from South Texas Health System to please stand. They have upgraded to be one of our Kiskity investors, and we'd like to thank them for that investment to our community. Thank you guys for the support. They've been loyal supporters of the Chamber, and we thank them for continuing that effort with us. At this time, I also would like to mention a program that the Chamber has implemented through the Mission Prosperity Ventures nonprofit organization, and it's called the Merit Program. And it is GMCC's partnership in conjunction with the Merit Grant Program that is for small business seminars and 6 complimentary coaching hours for businesses in need of accounting, marketing, or e-commerce support. Registered businesses will choose the topic they would like to focus on with a 6-hour one-on-one coaching and to receive help from UT RGV student interns as well. The 6 hours of one-on-one business coaching will be utilized by the business in their chosen topic of accounting, marketing, and e-commerce. UT RGV students will help implement strategies developed between the coaches and the businesses with no cost at all to the businesses. Interested businesses must apply before February 15th. The Merit Project is only accepting 20 Hidalgo County businesses. Applying businesses must have been in operation prior to September 2019. Again, thank you to our speakers, thank you to all of our supporters and to our sponsors, and thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate it, and buenas tardes. Thank you.